Hey, good evening. This is your favorite pharmacist. Hope everyone is doing well. Welcome. I am so excited today to speak about the coronavirus vaccine. There's been so much going on in the news and everything with that. Before we get into any of that, I wanted to let you know I'm your favorite pharmacist, so no question about it. That's what it is. Okay, give y'all structure. Okay. Either way, I am your favorite pharmacist. I've been a pharmacist for over 20 years. So I've seen a lot of this, done a lot of that. And my purpose is to give value to you. And I'm going to give it to you in a straightforward, I'm not going to get it all convoluted into all of the medical jargons. Of course, if you desire that, we can go into deeper discussions. That's no problem. But I just wanted to give it to you straight. And with this coronavirus vaccine, should you get it? Should you not? It's just a lot of hoopla about it. And I just really feel like it's really unnecessary. And I think when you don't have the foundation of something the right way, when you have a weak foundation, then you can't build and go from there. And in this case, having a weak foundation on the vaccine, excuse me, my microphone is falling, having a weak foundation on the vaccine and not really know, what you should do, we really don't have room for that because this is really, it's a health crisis. It's not just a United States issue. It's all around the world. The entire world is going through a pandemic. But as Americans, we are so far advanced when it comes to the scientifics of it. America, we're number one. We are America, the United States of America. And for some reason, we are not getting a handle or grapple on this coronavirus or this pandemic like we should, to say we are so far in advance. So I'm going to give my perspective from a pharmacist perspective, someone who's, of course, this is my first pandemic because I'm not that old, but just to give, some, hopefully my angle is to give some comfort, to give some perspective from, a personal perspective, and someone who has studied medications, who actually gives out the vaccine, someone who has given it to their own child. So just to give perspective and hopefully to bring some of this fear down, or this discombobulation on what is going on with this pandemic and the vaccine. Okay, so today I'm going to do a live today on 2 talking points. Okay. And this is only from my perspective. Of course, in the comment section, once you watch this on a replay, please give your perspective on this, and anything you would like for me to elaborate on, to discuss more about, to go deeper into details. But I'm not going to basically give a pharmacology class on this. This is just my perspective, from a professional perspective, and hopefully just, like I said, bring some kind of full circle into your ideas on this vaccine, if you should get it or you shouldn't. Spoiler alert, I totally think you should get it, but I'll get deep into why I feel so later. And it's not like I'm one of those, I'm a pharmacist. Yes, I believe in medications, I believe in drugs, but my first line of action whenever dealing with any kind of disease state or anything of that nature is not just to go straight to drugs. That's not my thing. I always, believe in just natural ways of doing things, lifestyle modifications. Like if you have heartburn or something like that, I'm not going to want you to just go straight to the, the tummy area to get, something for the heartburn, and if I do that, is basically, I want to ask you first, what are your lifestyle? Like, what are you eating? What are you doing? Just for example, so I don't want you to feel that I am biased towards the vaccine or biased towards anything medicinal in general, because I'm a pharmacist. Okay. So I have 2 talking points today. I'm breaking those 2 talking points into the common sense of vaccines and the political part of it. And like I said, this is from my perspective and how I see things. And hopefully breaking these 2 points down will give some full understanding and give some clarity on, what, you should do. Should you get the vaccine? Or if you have the vaccine, are you comfortable with it? So, and I do feel sorry for y'all Johnson and Johnson people, because y'all don't really know what to do when it comes to the booster. That's another live. So in why I brought this up too is, and like I said, why I brought it, breaking it down into 2 speaking points, because this is, I'm just gonna go ahead and say everyone just should stay in their lane. Okay, basically, I think because of the poor foundation of how this pandemic was started in the first place, that's how the waters got a little murky, and everyone kind of have they say on, everyone are like microbiologists, everyone now are physicians, everyone now, are pharmacists. And, I would not want to go into the lane of, let's say me as a microbiologist. I did not go into full studies into that. I had a little bit of it, but that's just like me going into that, full well, not knowing how they do what they do. But I do have some perspective of it, but I'm gonna stay in my lane and I'm gonna trust the professionals. So we'll go from there. And basically with the Nicki Minaj, and I say that to say this, Nicki Minaj, she, had this beautiful little juicy little baby boy. Oh God, he is so scrumptious. Oh, the guy she is with was so worth it almost, I think, because that little baby is just a big ball of yummy. Besides the point, but I brought this up because there's a lot of hoopla with Nicki Minaj. She said something to the effect that, she couldn't make it to the Met Gala, this big annual, fancy for all the rich people where you dress up, you're amazing, party. And she couldn't go because of the vaccine, because she did not want to take the vaccine. And her stance is, I don't think she was saying yes. I don't think she was saying no, but she wanted to do her research on it before she goes any further for her and her family. And basically she was just, her reason was because she had a family member in Trinidad who got it. He got his balls blown up off of it or got swollen, and the families are broken apart, the marriage, the wedding, and he's gonna get married, yada, 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 whatever. So that was her basis off of one incident that was close to her. And I totally get it. I've had issues before where something's supposed to go through smoothly medical wise, and it just went totally like off road. So I get where she's coming from a personal aspect. And also, I get it. Someone in your family had an issue with the vaccine and it's a little sketchy, or, you're not comfortable with it. Of course, but when you do have a platform as big as Nicki Minaj, and a lot of people, and there's a lot of chaos in our, thinking about it anyway, it just really did not help, especially when we're trying to bring this pandemic to a resolve and move forward. But either way, I'm going to talk more about Nicki in my second talking point. But the first talking point is the common sense aspect of it. Okay, so a lot of times I broke it down, the first talking point, to common sense, because a lot of times, sorry, this mic is not doing good today. I put it into common sense because a lot of times when you don't know what you're dealing with or really understand the foundation of the concept of what you're dealing with, then you cannot make informed decisions. So I get it. A lot of times, you just, if you don't know, you don't know. And if you don't really go to the research, or, you hear so much, ruminating about it, of course, you're going to be a little weary. So let me give you the common sense. First, starting with the vaccination. What is a vaccine? Let's just start off with it. And I wish so badly I had like someone I could just go back and forth with, and, just to kind of get perspective on what y'all feel or what you think a vaccine is. But a vaccine's been out for let me just lay it down. Vaccine, this is not a brand new concept. It's not like the pandemic came out in 2020 and all of a sudden we have our very first vaccine. No, the vaccine's been out, since the late 1700s. It's been out a long time. So the concept of a vaccine is not brand new. Okay. So basically a vaccine is given to stimulate your immune system to protect you from certain diseases. Okay. So it's, like I said, it's been given since like the early 1800s, the late 1700s. That's what, over how many years ago now? How many centuries? So it's not a brand new concept. Like I said, it's not a concept that came out in the year 2020 or anything. This has been out since the 1700s. Okay. And a vaccine, like I said, is given as a protection. It's like wearing a condom. Why do you wear a condom? Just in case. Is it 100%? Of course not. Nothing in life is 100%. But you wear a condom to prevent like a STD or a virus or any kind of thing of that nature. Another example, I'm going through that phase of life that everything just kind of goes to like, anyway, besides the point. Another example would be like wearing a seatbelt. Okay, so of course you're safe in your car. Of course, everything, hopefully will go according to plan. But why do you wear a seatbelt? You wear a seatbelt for protection just in case. So that's why you wear a seatbelt. So it's the same thing with the immunization. It's not 100%. Nothing in life is 100%. But just like wearing a seatbelt, you wear it for protection just in case. So that's why you may hear cases of, even like with the flu vaccine, you still might get the flu, with the pneumonia vaccine. These are examples of vaccines. You have the flu vaccine, you have the pneumonia vaccines, you have the shingles vaccines. You have vaccines for polio, just a lot of different things. So this is why it's so important to, just keep it going, be educated and know what you're dealing with. Ms. Pola said there will be a massive die-off of humanity within the next 2 years from the graphene oxide in the vaccines. The variants are coming from the vaccinated. The vaccine equals genocide. Okay, that's interesting. Big Pharma. Okay. I would love to share a link with you if you want to come up and really want to go back and forth with it. So Paula, how do you feel about vaccinations in general? Do you believe in vaccinations? Have you ever had a vaccination in general? And trust me, girl, I get it. I get the big pharma thing, okay? Big pharma is for real. They run the shop. They have the billions of dollars. I get where you're coming from with big pharma. So because I'm a pharmacist, of course I love big pharma because that's what pays my check. But at the same time, I see things for what they are. So if you want to give some kind of perspective on what your mindset is, I would love to see that. But basically, yeah, with big pharma, that's all the politics. So that's going to be like my second talking point. But if you could answer me, if you ever had a vaccine and do you believe in vaccinations in general, let's start off with that. So a vaccine, like I said, is like a seatbelt or a condom is given just in case. Okay. Or it's to, just to kill off a possibility of a disease state. Okay. So just like pneumonia. So that's the main thing. I'm waiting for Ms. Pola to say something. Okay, so the concept of vaccines is not new. That's just all to it. It's not new. Any questions? It's not new. Okay. So with that being said, so the first vaccine was the smallpox. So that was back in almost the 1700s, 1800s. It's been out that long. And we need vaccinations. Yes, there's such thing as herd immunity, but you have to get vaccinated first to hopefully get it to a herd immunity point. But if we didn't have vaccines, we would be dying off of the goofiest things like smallpox, polio, or, just all kind of craziness. Let me see. Virus, it was safe. Okay, yeah, that's a drug though, so that's not a vaccine. Yeah, you're right. I'm not going to challenge that. Yeah, Vioxx, and I love that you said that. That's an old one, girl. Woo, who are you? You know your drugs. Yeah, Vioxx is a very old one. And it was supposed to be safe, but nothing is absolute. And in that case, it really wasn't worth the trouble, since there were a lot of different things that could be treated. And so, yeah, I get what you're saying, but I'm just going to wait until you go on. And like I said, if you want me to, let's see, share. Hold on a second. Let me see. Okay, so I mean, I'm not really sure if it's going to work out, but if you want to, hop on and let's discuss it more, that'd be awesome. So anyway, so we didn't have vaccinations, and like I said, I'm laying down the foundation. Vaccines is not a new concept. Okay, it's been around for centuries. Okay, if we didn't have it, we would have smallpox. In anything in life, in medicine also, it's not absolute. So yes, there were a lot of things that were going on, and you are very cavalier about me. I'm not. Okay, so first of all, I'm not cavalier, and I get what you're saying. I'm not cavalier about death, of course not. If I was cavalier about death or didn't care, I wouldn't be on this platform in the first place. Trust me, I'd rather talk about much more interesting things, but I do want to add some value because we are in the middle of a pandemic. But you never did answer the question, do you believe in vaccines, and have you had a vaccine before? I kind of want to get where your mindset is, and then I can know how to really proceed with you from there. So let's see. Yeah. So I'm waiting for them to tell me. So either way, so that's the main thing. The vaccine is not a new thing. The coronavirus. Do y'all think this is 2020 is the first time that the coronavirus came to the United States of America, to the China, to the entire world? The coronavirus has been around probably before we were born. Okay, so it's a virus. It's not like, so my point in saying that is we have two major things that are not new under the sun. Okay, vaccinations aren't a new thing. The coronavirus is not a new type of virus. I'm citing. Yeah, I understand. I understand where you're coming from it. And that's why I'm not going to really get too much into statistics and stuff like that, because unfortunately, I feel like and I see, okay, but you still haven't answered my question. Have you had a vaccine ever in your life? And two, do you believe in vaccines in general? So, and then like I said, because otherwise it's just, we're just going around and around a circle, because I'm not sure who I'm dealing with. I can see, from the Vioxx, what you're talking about, but at the same time, I need some more context on how to really proceed with you. So the coronavirus is not a brand new virus. Okay. So my point is, we have people, and I think a lot of times we kind of underestimate. Yeah, you're right. You're right. There's a lot of you're saying there's a lot of medical malpractice in America. Number 3 cause. You're right. You're right. And I'm one of those victims of malpractice. I mean, so I get what you're saying. So I'm definitely like, I'm not an advocate for anything except the common sense of it. And to go ahead and jump into I'm gonna back up, because I was gonna go into my second talking point. Well, let me finish this out. We just have to understand that this is a time, humans in general, we are brilliant. We are brilliant. I think a lot of times where, like I have Miss Pola here, she is like absolutely, she's on it, but a lot of times, we're in our little bubble. and we underestimate the what the value we bring as human beings. Like our wisdom can be absolutely amazing. My point in saying that is Pfizer, Moderna, all drug companies, even just scientific labs, they have people on deck all the time, piddling around in the labs, coming up with all kinds of different types of data and all kind of research and all this kind of stuff, right? So we kind of get into our bubble of not understanding that these people are brilliant, number one. Number two, money is a hell of a drug, okay? So I'm saying that because a lot of people issue is that, okay, all of a sudden we have this virus. All of a sudden now we have this vaccine. I don't trust it. And that makes an amazing amount of sense. How in the hell did they get that vaccine so quickly, whereas usually takes like years and years to get anything FDA approved or any drug to get pushed through? Okay. And to me, the answer is just pretty simple. The coronavirus is already existed in time. Okay. A vaccine's already been, invented. So it's not like it's a brand new invention per se. So to me, I just can see it as something where they do a little tweaky, and they have a vaccine for the coronavirus. To me, it's just very simple because, money can make anything happen. If you can get money and you can get bureaucracy out the way, I mean, the world can be totally, we can have world peace and we can get bureaucracy out the way and infuse it with a ton of money. We can have the inner police brutality out the way and we can have the bureaucracy and, infuse it with a ton of money. So do you approve of injecting alcohol? And well, first of all, Ms. Pola, you're not answering not one of my questions. Have you answered one of my questions? Have you ever had a vaccine? Number one, have you had a vaccine in your life ever? And do you believe in vaccines? So I want to see that first, and then we're going to go from there. And if you want to hop on and, you want to, do this, we can do this. That's fine. But my point is, the bureaucracy was moved out the way. We are in the middle of a pandemic. We are in the middle of an emergency. Okay. So point number two, to say all of this, to say this, we started off on the wrong foot. We made this public health catastrophe into a political issue. This is not a political issue. This is something that we don't understand what the hell is going on. Number one, we don't know how to contain it. You're a pharmacist and you are advocating the efficacy of, well, is it really? Okay, so Pola, have you ever had a vaccine? Let's talk about that first. Let's go there first. Have you had a vaccine ever in your life? Ever? And I know the answer is yes. I know if you had a vaccine. Okay. So when it comes to America, we, the most advanced country in the world, we tripped up where we made this a political issue. The administration before now, and we're not even going to talk about this administration but before now, the administration before, they didn't handle this the right way. They kind of made it into politics. And when you don't make it into what it is, if you don't call something by its name, then it's not going to be addressed properly. Okay. So basically, because it was a political issue and not a public health crisis, it kind of opened to the door where everyone is a medical doctor. Everyone is a microbiologist. Everyone has, and don't get me wrong, with Google and, anyone can do research. Like I said before, humans, we are amazing. Our brains are just vast in knowledge. And like I said, if you can throw some money in the mix and get the bureaucracy out the way, whoo, I mean, things can just be, we can have world peace. But unfortunately, also as humans, we have all this other foolishness in the way, right? But Paula, you had a vaccine or not? Yes or no? And also, I have my thing in a way, so I can't really see. Do you want to come up, hop out with me? But seriously, like, have you ever had a vaccine? Have you ever had a vaccine? Have you? And like I said, if you let me know that, then if you never had a vaccine, then I can see. But I know you had a vaccine. You know about Vioxx, so you're very well educated in this realm of medicine. So, like I said, with the seatbelt analogy, or just even with the flu vaccine in general, nothing is absolute. Nothing is a perfection. But to me, in my professional opinion, it does it, with the influx of money and with the bureaucracy moved out the way, and Pfizer is an amazing company, even though they did do the Vioxx, you're right. It's just so have you ever had a vaccine before? Do you said you don't address the recall? I mean, well, okay, so I can definitely talk about recall drugs another time, but I guess you're making it in relationship to this vaccine and if it's efficacious and if it's going to have any long-standing side effects. So I guess that what you're going with. But like I said, I would like to know if you ever had a vaccine so I can know where your mindset is. But I mean, everything you're saying, I'm not denying everything you're saying. But either way, the politics of, we just made this a political thing where now people like, and I'm not picking on Nicki Minaj because, Joe Rogan, everyone has their opinion. But I hate to say, and this is going to be an unpopular opinion. And I have friends who hate when I say this, but sometimes you have to stay in your lane. I mean, and true, there are even medical doctors and other, healthcare professionals who don't believe in a vaccine or this and this or that, whatever. A lot of times they have their own agenda just to get into the news or whatever. I mean, a lot of times you just have to stay in your lane. Like I said, I'm not going to go to a microbiologist and be like, oh, did you really, did you do this right in the Petri dish? I don't know anything about that. I only had like probably a couple of semesters of microbiology, but these people, they're doing this stuff every single day, so we really made it a mess when we made it political, and that opened the door to not make it a health crisis, but a political crisis. I want to know, what does your belief in the political system have to do with a disease that you can't see, touch, that you don't even know about, that you cannot control? What does that have to do? Because at the end of the day, when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be caring about, it was my American right. That's just dumb. It's just, to me, it's just, that's what happens when you don't control something the right way that's good for everybody, so it's just, I just don't like all this politics into it. Do I believe that in everything? Like for example, abortion. Okay, that's something where is my body, my choice, yada yada yada. Okay, whatever. That's a different type of thing, because first of all, it's not a political, it's not, a pandemic. It's not causing an immediate harm of eradicating an entire group of, people or a whole, nation, or, it's not wiping out anything per se, in a mass concentrated, one offer. So, having politics with healthcare or whatever, it's good to have that push and pull in the society, kind of keep everything society at an equilibrium, right? So I get that. But with this here, this is an emergency. Okay. And to kind of making a comparison of the vaccine towards, your political rights, to me, that just shows how the research isn't really being done, and just, people who just want to feel right. I mean, and I don't have that issue. I don't want to be right. I just want things to get done. And like, what do people want? Do they want to get it done? And the problem with making this a political thing instead of a common sense medical issue that is under, you know, I mean, like, what do y'all want? Like, do y'all want to all get weakened from this pandemic? Do y'all, the American people, because we believe in rights and everything, right? We don't care about the next person. We don't care if someone with cancer, gets the virus and we don't care about no one except ourselves, right? I mean, but what do we want? Do we want to have this spread of this pandemic, have it unchecked to the point where we're as a whole weakened and busy and trying to resolve this, and in other countries who are doing better to come and, this is like, it could be far-fetched, but when something is not controlled and is made, political, when it's not, you're not really seeing the big picture. If this is not handled or under control, we are weakening ourselves as a society. We are weakening ourselves as Americans. And trust me, our American rights is not going to matter when some other country can come and invade in and feed off of our weaknesses. Okay, so that's my thing. So all of the people who are into the politics, into all of this, think about the big picture. What will happen? And do you even think there's a virus? Yeah, I mean, do people out there still think that there's a virus? I mean, so that's why you don't think that you need the vaccine? Paula, have you had the vaccine before? COVID is mild to moderate. I mean, okay, well, if it's that, why is it a pandemic that is wiping out astronomical amount of people in a short span of time? A flu can be a virus that can be mild and moderate, okay? But that's not a pandemic right now. But this is a national crisis. So, I mean, I respect everything you're saying. I mean, I would love for you to kind of give me your perspective on what your stance is. I'm giving my stance, straight out. I do believe, I understand people's fears. Okay. But my angle and my point is I want to give value and give understanding to what is not understood. Okay. So the first point is the foundation, the common sense of it. What is a vaccine? Okay. So some people, they probably never asked that question. Maybe the word vaccine, is something that we're given from birth, once we're, a baby all the way up to, to now, so what is a vaccine? Some people may not know that, we take for granted like the basics, but some people may not really understand the true underlining, what a vaccine is. It's not just a chip, a fluid that they squirt in your body to put a chip into your system and to track you around so the government can have control of you. No, I mean, that's just really goofy when we have cell phones. I'm not disseminating clinical information. Is that, so you're saying you don't want to say if you have vaccine or not? Okay. All right. Well, do you believe in vaccines in general then? So you don't believe in vaccines in general. So you're not appreciative that polio is under control. You're not under, you don't feel the fact that you don't have to deal with smallpox. What about the whooping cough? Do you have children? Do you feel that children don't need that protection from getting a whooping cough and dying and having, I'm giving you my perspective from where I'm coming from. So if you want to do a verbal sparring, I need to know who you are, because all of these facts is what's getting people lost in the sauce. Like everything you're doing right now is okay. So, okay, let me ask you this. So, okay, you don't want to tell me you had a vaccine. So that means you had a vaccine before. Okay. And you're very well educated because you know about Vioxx. I mean, hell, I almost forgot about Vioxx. And almost tripped up and said the Pfizer thing. So like, what is your solution? What is your accountability? Who you, how you think this should resolve? How you think this gonna play out, Ms. Pola? I mean, like we're thinking about all this, X-Men stuff or X-Files stuff, but this is like here and now. Like, how are we going to prevent ourselves from getting weakened as a herd of people, as a nation of people, and not be vulnerable to outside, influences that may want to feed off of our weakened state? So what is your solution? Because unfortunately, that's why we're in this mess now. We really don't know a solution. Well, we have one, but it's just not, working, because like I said at the beginning, this became a political issue instead of the last administration standing tall and like, listen, this is a public health crisis, and this is our plan of action, and so on and so forth. It was used for political gains to kind of win people over. And while all of this is happening, people were dying because of all of this. People who don't feel good about themselves, or people who are not in tune to who they are as a human, and they base everything off of their affiliation in that respect. And even churches are, this is crazy. Among have been simply rebranded. So, I mean, what do you, and honey, you ready, honey? You got all this. I mean, but at the end of the day, this is my point of just giving a straight up perspective from a pharmacist, someone who's given a vaccine, who, like I said, I even given it to my own child. I love her more than I love myself. Okay. Like what would be your plan of action? So, when it comes down to it, all of the politics, all of the verbiage, all of the looking in a New England Journal of Medicine, all of the CDC, all of that doesn't matter. It won't matter if we dying off. So, and that's what people are getting tripped up in. And then with all of the people are just so confused, with being stuck at home and stuff, it just kind of gets everything a little convoluted in the thinking process. What would be your plan of action, your suggestion? Let's see, read the inserting vaccine. They all cause. Well, that's not true. I would have to beg to differ on that. Ms. Pola said, read the insert for any vaccine. They all cause significant damage. I mean, but you're okay. I mean, you had a vaccine and you're okay, I'm sure. You had a vaccine. You had a vaccine. I mean, so like I said, this in life in general, and medicine is no different. There are pros and cons. Listen, we're just humans. We're blessed with the gift that God gave us for wisdom, and we're just trying to do what we can about it. But what I don't like is the fact that this was made political. People are using their platforms to bring more awareness to themselves. Like this right here is not going to be popular at all. Like I'm literally saying to people, stay in your own lane and let the healthcare, the people who are, who are educated, and the people who understand the technology and the medicinal side of things, let them work this out. That's all I'm saying. Someone who is off the street who read Google and want to say no, that's not going to cut it. We're past that point. And like I said, we're not thinking about the big picture. We think about our rights, but we're not thinking about the big picture of we ain't gonna have any rights if we're a weakened state and we're so busy grappling with trying to get a pandemic under control and fussing and fighting with each other. And then someone else can come in and just swoop in and just, you know, have their way with us as a nation. So, I mean, so we need to see the big picture for it. You see, because you haven't read them. I've read them. I mean, what do you mean I haven't read them? I mean, I'm giving reading doesn't mean anything. So this is really the premise. I mean, okay, listen, let me back up. So it's great to be educated and it's you know, but when it comes to just real life, everything you're saying right now is very technical and it has nothing to do with real life. I mean, what you're saying is not going to end the pandemic. Like, do you have, like, from your standpoint, respectfully, I really am asking, and I want all perspectives. Educate me, because my only perspective is for people to get the vaccine on the foundation, on the basis of that the vaccine is not a brand new concept. A vaccine's been out since the 1700s. So it's not like this was something that we kind of was in the works of. The vaccines already been out. We already done the flu vaccine. We already done the pneumonia vaccines. We already done the shingles vaccines. We already done the hepatitis vaccine. I mean, we've, you know, the meningitis, you know, all of this. We already done these vaccines. So that too, the coronavirus is not like a brand new bug out of space or anything. You know, this is a, you know, something that got out of check, a virus that got out of check. Now it's spreading like wildfire. So do you advocate injecting newborns with Hep B? Right. I mean, I would have to, I can't really answer that, be honest with you. I would have to really do more research into that and use my medicinal perspective on it. And that's the thing too, is, you know, yes, we can Google, we can read literature and stuff like that, but it gives you have a different context and understanding when you have the full picture of being in the medical field, or when you're in the research field, when you're dealing with medications intimately. So that's something, you know, I'm not going to just be here and just say, yeah. You know, I'm not advocating everything. Do I believe in every drug? No. Like I said, I even had a malpractice with, you know, a medication, something that almost ruined my life. So I understand, you know, how things can go wrong. But in general, I do believe in the common sense and the basics of, you know, vaccines been around for years. The coronavirus been around for beginning of time. So all you had, you know, to me, all the people in the labs who they're chilling anyway, getting paid, you know, not enough money. And now all this influx of government money come in and they already there pissing around in the lab anyway, you know, just coming up with all these amazing opportunities for new medications, like for cancer and for, you know, just anything, you know, they're already there, you know? So it's just, we just have to, like I said, we have to trust the medical community. We have to take the politics out of it. So the segue back into the Nicki Minaj, you know, she made a really good point. She doesn't want the virus. I mean, excuse me, the virus, of course she doesn't. She doesn't want the vaccine until she can do her own research. Okay. Now, the flip side of that was, you know, when she started mentioning enlarged balls and, you know, first of all, anything with men balls and stuff, that scares the hell out of them. Okay. Because a man, they will do something about their penis before they do anything with any parts of their body. Okay. So, you know, of course, that's going to cause a hysteria. You know, oh my God, my balls. I get the vaccine, my balls, you know, so, you know, she kind of knows she was doing, you know, and then women like, well, my man balls, you know. You know, so she causes hysteria saying something that was so keyed in, knowing, you know, you could say, well, you know, I heard that you take the vaccine, you know, my cousin arm fell off, or, you know, she could even said, you know, my cousin head fell off his neck or whatever, his neck rather. And, you know, people are like, oh, whatever. But when you start talking about a man balls getting all blown up And because of the vaccine and causing, infertility and all of this and all that, that was just, to me, it was a strategic play on, just causing a bunch of ruckus, and respectfully to Nicki Minaj, she has a platform. And I just really think, it's nothing wrong as Americans. We have our right to say whatever, but we do need to be responsible. Okay. So hopefully today, I'm going to go hop off of here, but hopefully today y'all have some comfort that, a vaccination, the COVID vaccine is a vaccine. No, it's not a long-term, a lot of studies, but the concept and the delivery system and how it's formulated, that's already been down the pipeline for other vaccines before. Okay. So it's not like I said, they had to just build up some brand new concept. Vaccines have already been a concept. That's what that is. Two, take the politics out of it. Politics has no place in this except, you can't vote away this pandemic. You can't place a vote in a ballot box and vote it away. Okay. You cannot, you can pass a bill to make this virus go away. You cannot. So politics needs to stay in this place, stay in this lane. And the only thing politics need to be doing is making sure that money gets to the research and the things that's needed to get this, the show on the road to get this pandemic to resolve. Because we are an amazing country. We have all this technology and everything, and we're just too far advanced for something that could have been eradicated in the first month or not even happened at all to have blown up to this point. And it only blown up to this point because of the politics of it. Everyone now is a medical doctor. Everyone now is a microbiologist. Everyone now is an epidemiologist. Everyone knows everything about everything. And that's not the case. And that is causing the wide fear. No one knows who to listen to. No one knows who to trust. No one knows anything. Should I not? While the pandemic is just, mutating and becoming stronger and weirder and harder to contain. Okay. So, and like I said, for all the political people, think about the big picture there. Do you want another country to come and invade us while we're pissing around with the pandemic? So, while we, doing all these rights and trying to figure this out, while they got their crap together and they got time to key in on us. So that's all for the political people. Okay. So let's just be more responsible with our platform. Understand, it's like a seatbelt. No, you may still get the virus. Something may still go wrong. I mean, hell, you could take a Tylenol, and something can go wrong. It's hard to say. Nothing is absolute in life. But we do need some clarity, and we need a strong foundation on the goal. And the goal is to bring this pandemic to an end. That is the goal. Okay. So if y'all have any questions, and Paula, thank you so much. I enjoyed it. You are very, very knowledgeable. You definitely, if I was, that's why I didn't want to really get into the statistics, and all of the deep, all of that, because that's how people get lost in the sauce. To me, it's very streamlined. It's very easy. It's very easy. For what we got going on is very easy until they can develop a pill or something to kill it off, otherwise you're going, it's easy. Get the vaccine. Okay. This is all to it. I mean, instead of taking a horse pill or, for worms or, or some medications that, doesn't make sense, and mixing it all up. I mean, people are drinking Clorox, and, people rather drink Clorox and do all the silliness instead of just doing a freaking vaccine. It doesn't make sense, so keep the politics out of it. Everyone stay in their own lane, including me. Like I said, I'm not going to go to a lab or anything and be like, what's going on there? Don't you think you need to dip a little more of this or whatever? No, I'm going to stay in my lane and give out information of awareness and go from what I know from my 20 years of pharmacy knowledge of being a pharmacist. That's what I'm going to go off on. But I really enjoyed your Paula. It was hot. You kept me on my toes. You won't answer my question because we already know the answer. And and I saw this. I wish I put it up. This meme. Goodness grief! I wish I had it placed. But what was it? Basic. Oh yeah, they said put the vaccine in a hookah. No one questions what's in that, and that's so true. Put it. I mean, we question the craziest things. But like I said, for all those political people, if we're gonna stand strong as Americans, we have to, stay, with what we know and move forward so we won't have anything, coming on the heels of our weaknesses. And our weaknesses is right now is everyone wants to be right, and everyone wants to, be able to be a professional, and everyone wants to be able to say what's right, what's wrong. I mean, good grief. We have all these actors or stuff, all of a sudden they doctors. I mean, come on, give me a break, I mean, these people, doctors and, all of us, we didn't go to school for all these years just to be able to be challenged easily by people who didn't go to school for 6 to 8, 12, how many years, it just doesn't make sense, so either way, I appreciate y'all tonight. I'm your favorite pharmacist. Please like, share, or subscribe to the channel. If I have my email in the link for any questions or anything you would like for me to discuss or to go over, McKay is going to be back on my next episode, so I'll welcome her back. So we'll be excited for that. And either way, y'all take care. Remember, your favorite pharmacist. Y'all take care. Bye.